Hey guys, what's going on? This is Susie Ruin again here, doing something really weird today. Just thought I would share with everyone sort of my experience in converting my World of Warcraft into essentially a console gaming platform as far as like the buttons and UI go. So I know a lot of you are familiar with this. Some of you are like, what the hell is he doing? Basically what I'm doing is I am using an Xbox 360 controller to play World of Warcraft, and I am tanking. Now I use a series of UI add-ons to sort of make this happen. It's actually fairly easy, and it's pretty low resource too if you're not using any other add-ons, to complement the already sort of setup I have here. So I started with a set of add-ons that are in the comments, ElvUIcan. What are the other ones? There's a few more other ones that you use to change the the buttons over to this sort of interface here that you're seeing, where there's windows and buttons that pop up. I'll put those in the comments. I can't remember off the top of my head. I just sort of wanted to show you guys what it would look like if World of Warcraft was essentially like a console game. This is sort of what it would look like. Now, you can change like the action cam and stuff like that, but it's just too jittery in instances due to close quarters and stuff like that. So I turned that stuff off just for this little sort of run. You can choose to get rid of the chat and also like the quest log and everything that's over to the right side of the screen. Do whatever you want with the map and all that stuff. So all this stuff's totally customizable. I just wanted to get it to a point where I could run through and tank an entire instance with a group. Now, I told this group that I was with, that I was sort of putting them in this part of a random social experiment, and they're cool with it, so no big deal. But I also use the Gnomish sequence enhancer due to the lack of sort of buttons that you'd have normally when you're playing World of Warcraft. Obviously you have tons of different buttons that you can push because you're using a keyboard, so it's slightly different. And I guess quite the opposite of slight. It's very different. There's a lot more buttons that you can push. So what Gnomish Sequence Enhancer does is it creates macros. So what I've done is I've essentially created, on my X button on the right side down there, you can see that ability will change from time to time. Because it's cycling through abilities that are basically off of refresh for tanking. So I have that button set up as like a one button sort of tank experience for the Death Knight. So basically that's the button that I'm using to sort of attack and keep myself alive. So this is just a regular, this is not a mythic or anything like that. I'm not in any danger, really, at this point. And the group that I'm with are very high damage and DPS, so we're really just ripping through this pretty fast. It was more of just an experiment to see, can I do it? What does that look like and how does that feel? And to be honest with you guys, it feels different than playing World of Warcraft when you're using a controller. It feels sort of odd. I don't know that I like it because obviously, this game is obviously meant to, you're supposed to use all these different abilities and things of that nature. They're supposed to be at your disposal, and you can do that with this. It's just you'd have to set up, a special sort of controller setup where you would hit your left trigger to pull up other, a sub menu and stuff like that, which can be done. And I actually did it on this. I use like my hearth and stuff like that. My mount is also a button that I have set up, and all that good stuff. Not only that, but I noticed that if you click on sort of the right stick, it will give you a sort of mouse option that you can control with a controller if push comes to shove. So you can use that to get around the interface too. Anyway, in the comments I'll have all of the sort of UI stuff, and I got this from BellularGaming, who also does a lot of Warcraft videos. And the only addition that I really added to this was the GSE, the Gnomish Sequence Enhancer, to make it easier to actually play the game versus just questing. So that I've added to it. It's basically his sort of brainchild here. I've just taken it and made it so that you can, tank instances and run like you're actually just playing World of Warcraft on any normal day. Versus just, running around doing quests, which is sort of what, when he introduced that whole video, that was sort of the point of it. And it's good too. It works both ways. This will do both. the sequence enhancer just makes it that much more sort of flexible because you're able to run instances and stuff like that. Now, I don't think you're going to be tanking any sort of mythic plus raids or anything like that, but I just thought this was a nice thing to kind of put out here right before we go into BFA. Pre-patches, I think, tomorrow, so you know, we'll see how this stuff holds up over time. But as for now, using an Xbox controller to play World of Warcraft is totally doable. If you guys have any questions or anything, hit me up in the comments. Of course, subscribe and like if you did like the video. And I hate this map.